including value-added measures. We did also ask teachers to take a test of pedagogical content knowledge. I'm not going to be talking about those results today. That'll be in our final report when we report out in mid-2012. The other thing that was unique about the project was just its scale. So there were nearly 3,000 teacher volunteers from districts around the country that were willing to come help us in this research. We scored more than, for this study that I'll be talking about today, we scored more than 7,500 lessons at least 3 times. So we're analyzing the results for more than 22,000 scores. There were ETS, our partners in this work. I see Tom Van Essen and Catherine McClellan in the audience. Recruited and trained more than 900 people to apply these 5 different instruments for doing the observations. And the reason why we did that was we didn't just want to know whether the instrument developers themselves could identify effective teaching. We wanted to know whether we could take those descriptions and see whether they were clear enough that we could train up a group of folks that had a background in teaching, so most of these 900 folks had a background in teaching, to recognize effective teaching themselves. So we didn't want to just test whether the experts could do it, we wanted to test whether real people with I mean, not that the experts aren't real people too, but mere mortals could apply the instruments. And we had student achievement data and student surveys included in this report from more than 44,000 kids. Now, the other thing that's unique about this study is that we're looking at a range of different student outcomes. So we're looking at gains on the state math tests, gains on the state ELA tests, but we had a unique opportunity to look at other student outcomes too. So we had students take the balanced assessment in math, which tests conceptual understanding in math and not just ability to do math operations. In English language arts, kids took an open-ended version of the Stanford 9 reading test. Now, you might say, Stanford 9? Well, this is not your grandmother's Stanford 9. This is a test where kids have to write short answer responses to reading comprehension questions. So it's quite different in format from many of the state ELA tests. Finally, we also looked at some other student outcomes, like student reported effort. So we asked students, do you agree, disagree? I did my best work in this class all year long. And even just kids' enjoyment from being in a particular teacher's class. So do you agree, disagree? This class is a happy place for me to be. Now, we're not proposing that those outcomes would be used for an accountability purpose, but we just wanted to see, given that we had a chance to collect those outcomes, whether there was any trade-off between the types of outcomes you could imagine using and those other outcomes that parents care about, but which are just harder to measure and harder to include in an accountability system. We just wanted to see what we found there. Now, in the presentation today, I'm going to be focused